Yeah, yeah, I know. Okay, good football team we're going to play. All three phases, they're well coached. They play fast. They got really good players. On the offensive side of the ball, obviously really good skill, really good scheme. I think KOC is one of the best play callers out there. Defensively, really good scheme, coached really well. Coach Flo does an excellent job, understands how to put pressure on you, not in the sense of pressuring you, but how to put pressure on the entire operation. They play really fast. That's what jumps off the tape to me. Take the ball away. I think they're tied for first in the league, taking the ball away. That we know that's a winning stat. There's no wonder that they're 9-2. And special teams, they do some unique things. I think Coach Daniels does a good job with those guys. They're aggressive and violent. So we're going to have to. Their special teams have really taken over games. I think have made some impactful plays, and has been really a reason why they've won a couple games, in my opinion, or a big reason why. Hostile environment. I've been there. I played there. Was on that team, so it invokes a response to you. So we're going to have a big-time challenge going there. What do we got?
With dealing with a Flores defense, it feels like Kyler and the offense have done a nice job of staying in the moment most weeks here. Do you get concerned at all about getting sped up because of how he can operate and run things?
No, we got to be on the details. I mean, they make you feel sped up at times. You know what I mean? They do a really good job pre-snap. They do a really good job. They have a lot of interchangeable parts that play different positions that you can get stressed out pretty quick if you're not simple. Everyone's not on the same page. And we got to really know the game plan and the details this week to have a chance.
Kyler's talked about how he has a better understanding, a good understanding of what the defenses are trying to do to him now that he's in year 6. Where can that come into play against Flores?
Yeah, I mean, just, understanding the why and understanding the little intricate details of what they're doing too. You know what I mean? I think what he's talking about, his knowledge base of when teams do certain things pre-snap, what they're really trying to get done. You don't want to chase ghosts, So he'll be ready to go.
Coach, when you look at Sam Darnold, what stood out off the film?
Accuracy, decision making. And he's got really good people throwing it to. He's throwing it to. That's what jumps off the tape. But he's always been, he can thread the needle, can throw it all over the yard. He's very accurate. He's a first rounder for a reason. He's got the skill set. So Kevin's done a really good job with him. Wes Phillips done a really good job with him, kind of putting him in their scheme and having him operate at a high level. He's playing well.
Challenges either physically or mentally to get the run game going when you're coming off a season low in 49 yards and you're facing the number one run defense?
Yeah, I think just beyond the details of it and understand how we're going to have to play is significantly different than last week was, because it's a different defense, different scheme. So just beyond the details of that and make sure that we're winning the line of scrimmage and the run game will get going.
You say you don't want to chase ghosts like with the reads. Is that just because the disguise looks a lot?
Yeah, they're. I would like to think, we are. That sounds hubris. Their disguise packages, what they present to you pre-snap. I think they're probably up there, with the best in the league.
You mentioned how players are challenged during the week of practice, and Zaven mentioned the other day about how techniques will change in the game. Obviously, we know matchups too. Overall, the challenge to players when a lot is new or different in a given week.
Well, your fundamentals and technique typically don't change too much. What changes is how you have to apply them versus what they're doing. That's what he's probably saying. So, the 5 fundamentals of O-line play never change. Techniques might change, calls might change, schematics might change a little bit, but the fundamentals are still there. Corner play, anybody, you could go through every position, but that really doesn't change. But you got to adjust to what they're doing and what you're trying to get done with those calls and those techniques.
There's some reports that Daniel Jones is signing with the Vikings. How much more preparation does that make you guys have to get into?
Yeah, we'll see. I think the system is their system. He probably fits their system extremely well. Really good player. So, not much, I guess, Tyler.
Coach, you got any Thanksgiving plans?
Work. Yeah, work. And it's a little bit of adjusted schedule. I'll get him out here. Huge, obviously an awesome holiday. A lot to be thankful for. I told the team, we should be thankful because we get to do what we want to do with our life. But, so yeah, I'll eat a little bit.
Mike Wilson said he's limiting himself to a plate and a half. Is that?
That's because he's got weigh-ins the next day. They don't watch this. They actually don't have weigh-ins. But if they watch it, they'd be like, "You told us we didn't have weigh-ins." You know what I mean? No, we explained to our guys. It's because we got a lot of young guys, first, second-year guys. Whatever, and it's a great holiday, but it's in the middle of the work week, right? So you have to adjust your process and your routine, but you can't skip steps. So our guys know that. We educated them, and we'll handle business.
Jonathan, Dante still says that impact basically every game going back a few months now. What do you see from him that's enabling him?
Yeah, he's making a bunch of plays, winning a bunch of one-on-ones. I think he's taken a step with his consistency of doing the right thing and playing with proper technique. And really, the consistency of that, it's allowed his physical skill set to come alive. When your first step is wrong, typically the O-lineman is going to win it down. When your first step is right, now his explosiveness and his power and his strength can show up, So if you let that guy punch you first, now you got to get to a counter. He's punching people first now. So I think that just the consistency of doing the right thing and his technique is allowing him to make plays, win some one-on-ones. And his game's really ascended since he got here last year, the off season until now. He's a guy that's steadily improving, so it's good.
How is that impacting the defense overall?
He's a good player. He's making plays for us.
I know once they're in the building, you're not looking at pedigree in terms of draft pick or free agent or whatever. But what does it mean for a team when you start getting production like Dante was in the 6th round? These third day guys that are becoming impactful regular rotation guys.
Yeah, in my opinion, if you're going to be a good team, every acquisition piece is critical, whether you're drafted in the 1st round or 6th round or you're a free agent or whatever, you need those guys to play well and star their role. And I think we've got some guys that have been doing that. So it's good to see. And all you're trying to do, as a coach, is to get them hit their ceiling. The great coaches get guys to play above their ceiling, consistently, but it's our job to make sure that whatever they have in the tank, we make sure that we get what they got in the tank. So, and I think a lot of our guys are ascending and playing good football.
Is going to Minnesota as a head coach any special in any way to you?
No.
Coach, given the fact that Garrett missed a lot of the on-the-grass stuff last year coming in, how impressive does that make what he's doing now? I mean, it's got to be, he missed a ton of time, so.
They did, and then he came back in and impacted us, in a positive way. And I think, I don't like to name names and stuff like that. This guy's playing really, really good football right now, really good football, and it might fly under the radar a little bit. But what we ask him to do, how he executes the scheme and what we ask him to do, he's won a bunch of one-on-ones. He's taken the ball away, covers really well, tackles really well, blitzes. He does it all for us, and we load him up mentally now because he can handle it. He also plays, he has some position flexibility too, which you guys haven't seen that come to fruition, but he's a lot of times is the next guy in different spots. So he's got to prepare for that too. But, he's been going like this since he's buckled up his chin strap, and I don't think he's hit his ceiling yet either, by no means. So
I was going to say, he likes to talk about his film study. Do you see him doing those things that
yeah, I do, and it shows up. The value of preparation is real. used to work for a guy. He'd say, JG, the NFL is an open book test. It's whoever studies more. You know what I mean? And Garrett takes advantage of that to the fullest.
Going back to those Minnesota days.
Boy, you guys, we were supposed to be done like 5 minutes ago. Happy Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
Sorry. Back to those Minnesota days, obviously when you were building out your staff, you went back to a lot of those guys you worked with at that time, Rob, Drew, I know you
Evan,
overlap.
Evan Marcus. Yeah.
What did you see in those guys?
Yeah, you just, when I was there, that was when I was in Minnesota, I was there for 4 years. That's the longest I've ever been out of my however many stops, 7 stops, I think, for 4 years, and we were good, so, I got to work with those guys firsthand, when I got here. Do they fit what I wanted, what I thought was the best for this team, and a lot of those guys did. And you can't hire everybody, but, I was, just being with those guys, learning about them as people first, and then seeing them teach, seeing their growth mindset, who they were as coaches and teachers and people first. I knew that was attractive to me, so try to hire those guys. And then when I left, then 2 other guys that are on our staff walked into that building after I left. And when one of your biggest mentors says, "Hey man, like, you don't know this guy, but he's a lot better than you were," like, you take notice. You know what I mean? That's it's real. So then you start to develop relationships with those guys too. So it's been cool. But we do got quite a bunch that have played in this stadium as their home base. So they'll be excited to get back, and it's always cool. But no, it's round 12, man.
Was that mentor? Was that Mike?
Yeah.
Who's he talking about?
The guys that are here that I wasn't with.
Who's wearing number?
You can pay.